David Byrne accused engineers of being uncomfortable in social situations, thus creating and forcing a world of isolation onto others by inventing products that are easy and quick to use, which obviously eliminates additional human help, thereby benefiting themselves by not having to talk to another human being and ruining the lives of everyone else.
That's some pretty heavy accusations, Mr. David.
Automation. A quick internet search will tell you it is an intelligent system that lets you combine multiple tasks into a single automated action. Suppose you complete your work and vacate the room you were in without turning off the lights. An automated lighting system would recognize the absence of movement in the room and turn the lights off on its own. So you see, automation not only saves you money but also is good for the environment. Then why are people so upset about automation that they've begun demonizing innocent people? Well, years ago, when man saw a growing need for less effort and more output, he came up with automated systems like where farming was eased with tractors, and today graphic designing is simplified with easy-to-use software. But unlike before, where with improvements in technology and automation meant new job creations and new businesses, today, automation is not only taking away jobs like it always did, but also creating far fewer jobs than necessary. Why? Well, pretty obvious as it may sound, machines are smarter. No? Well, at least they are better at being consistent with the flow of work if asked or commanded to be. Unlike human beings whose performance can be affected by external factors, which may or may not be related to work, which then again leads to the classic debate about the number of non-working hours an average person spends, and the performance and welfare benefits in addition that one receives each month. Because again, let's face it, we are human beings, not machines. So you see the problem from a business owner's perspective. If Bezos chooses to automate his entire warehouse operative systems, he could keep up with the rising purchases and keep the promise of next day delivery without increasing his labor costs or risk violating health and safety standards. Automation can make lives easier of not only business owners but also yours. However, if people don't have jobs to pay for stuff, Bezos won't have any orders to use his automated systems on. Classic head scratcher, isn't it? But that's a video for another time, because today's video isn't about people's jobs being at risk or business owners taking advantage of other people or being selfish for their own benefits. It's about Mr. Byrne's eyebrow-raising accusations. When he said that automation is ruining people's lives, he argues that automation was introduced with a backhand intention of eliminating human interaction. He's provided fair examples in his conspiracy blog, such as your digital music download. You don't have to walk up to a store and talk to a person to get your latest Taylor Swift album. The same goes with automated checkout systems in stores these days. You don't have to stand in long queues and wait till someone builds your items. But automation has existed way before today's AI. It was prominent during the Industrial Revolution. The way goods were now being manufactured significantly improved the standard of living of people through what came with it. Now, this was back in the 18th century. Did people reduce talking to one another and started living an isolated life because of that? Improvements in manufacturing industry gave rise to service industry, which uses a lot of automation. Did people reduce talking to one another and begin living an isolated life instead? Hell, it gave rise to better ways of communication. Your phone is a form of automation. Your laptop is a form of automation. Why did Alexander Graham Bell, who by the way wanted a quicker way to interact with his lady love, invent phones then? David Byrne also quoted Malcolm Gladwell in his blog, where he emphasized that people have been bringing about revolutionary changes to their current regimes well before Facebook came into being, like the East Germans and the French Revolution, which is true. But David Byrne failed to notice an important sentence in Gladwell's quote. People with grievances will always find ways to communicate with each other. How they choose to do it is less interesting. We had the entire world under lockdown for months together, and yet we found ways to communicate with one another, interact with one another. Well, it looks like to me that engineers were trying to ease human interaction as opposed to stop it altogether. Inventions are just objects or media. They do not have rationality, but you do. It is how you use these inventions to interact and communicate with people that matters. Don't blame your laziness to adapt to changing ways of communication on engineers and their inventions.